What is the number one rule in your moral code? If I'm the one who finishes the toilet paper roll, I'm the one who replaces it. Sadly, my family doesn't do the same, and then I have to waddle to the cabinet to get a new roll. Be afraid to be honest or kind. Both can be very hard in the right circumstances. Or be afraid and do it anyway. True that. Courage isn't the lack of fear, but the willingness to move forward when afraid. Apologize if you know you've done wrong. It's so simple and yet so important. This was a huge lesson my father taught us growing up. He really emphasized the strength it takes to apologize. More parents need to focus on this. I won't leave people out. I was frequently left out growing up, and it makes you feel an inch tall. I always offer and then offer again, to include people. It's always nice to have the offer even if you don't want to come along. Yeah, great to know people care. I'm thankful to people like you. I feel welcome. Sparkles, if you want to have friends, you must first be one. To be interesting, you must also be interested. Fuck with a man's livelihood. I was a brand new manager and made a joke about firing someone, and instead of laughing they looked scared and upset. A more senior manager saw that and took me aside. He said, if you have the power to hire and fire, it's not ever a joke. Don't fuck with a man's livelihood. Never forgot it, and it served me well. As an addendum, don't send shitty emails like please see me in my office. After becoming a manager, I made it a rule to explain unexpected meetings. Hey, I have an update on client name. Can we chat when you get a chance? Don't scare people. FFS. As a former retail manager, this one can get tricky. It's certainly preferable to approach hard conversations with the tactic you described whenever possible. That being said, when navigating the complex dynamic of a sales floor with multiple employees within earshot, any implication of a meeting with a lower-level associate will be seen by others as disciplinary. This causes gossip and strife between the people working under you. What I personally would do is find the employee I need to speak with, jovially approach them, and ask, hey, will you walk the sales floor with me for a second? I would then take a roundabout way to my office while discussing friendly personal life or hobby-related topics or upcoming store events. Once out of earshot of others and the employee is at ease, inform them, hey, so we need to step into my office for a second and talk about this situation that happened. If it's an employee with a different gender, bring in a manager who shares their gender. At this point they are generally receptive and appreciative of the way you approached them and respected their privacy. Even if the employee knows the conversation could end in termination of employment. Sorry for the rant, I just have a lot of feelings and experience in handling employees in an HR-friendly way. It also allows the person a way to get out of the inevitable "what did you do?" questions that get asked when they return to their department. When I was much younger working at a grocery store, my manager would, if he knew you smoked, invite you out for a smoke break rather than bring you to the office to put you at ease for minor issues. That's a clever approach. I was a smoker while managing retail, but I live in an area where smoking is very unpopular, so there were a limited number of employees where this would have worked. I like it though, it's a good way to lower barriers and bond while navigating complex issues. I worked from home for an extended period of time during the pandemic. We had several layoffs of people in similar roles to mine. The day the head of HR invited me unprompted to a video meeting was the worst day. They were asking me a follow-up question to a proposal I submitted, but I actually was expecting to get fired in that moment. Don't be like that. Mandatory meeting Monday morning 9 a.m., all staff must attend. We turn up expecting mass layoffs, got some OHS bullshit. However, expecting the worst, I had already sent my resume off to the company across the road. They hired me. Also 50% of staff sent off resumes because of this email. Many got offers and left. So many key people left, the other staff were overworked and were soon over it. It cascaded to a mass exodus within about 6 weeks of the email. Don't send shitty emails. Edit, fix typo. I've had managers scare the shit out of me because of this stuff. Just say what it's about. Even when I'm doing good at a job, those requests are terrifying. My old boss learned this the hard way. Got a job at a foundations company because my buddy was the foreman. It was hard-ass work, but I enjoyed it. Early on I noticed that all my hours were being cut off at 40 per week. Asked about it and was told my boss saves the extra hours instead of paying overtime and gives them to us during winter when work slows down. Red flag number 1, but I wasn't hurting on money and enjoyed the work, so I didn't quit. Then I found out he wasn't paying for work drive time. We would get to the shop, load everything in the trucks and drive to the worksite. He took off the time for fucking driving. Didn't quit because I didn't want my buddy to look bad for recommending me. The final straw was when he brought everyone together for a team meeting and told the 5 of us that we need to start putting hours he bid for instead of the actual hours we worked. He lowballed every job, so essentially we'd be doing 10 hours of unpaid labor a week. Then he fucked off to Dunefest to promote his xrteatracing side business for 3 weeks and temporarily shut the company down. In those 3 weeks I found a new job and convinced my buddy and one other guy to quit. Didn't tell the boss about it though. When he came back we all acted like we were coming back to work. 2 people showed up to the job site and I answered his call to tell him to go fuck himself. His company shut down a few months later because he lost his best workers and couldn't keep up with his workload to turn a profit. Never fuck with someone's pay. Similar story to yours but with a different ending. A buddy of mine got me a job where he worked, at his dad's construction business. I needed a tool belt and some basic tools, cost me $57 and change. I also had to be at the local hardware store's parking lot to get picked up by 6 a.m. I lived 30 minutes from the store, so I had to get up at 5 a.m. at the latest. I think I got up around 4:45 a.m. I get there on time, and wait. They get there around 6:30 or so. I get in the truck, we drive to the job site. It's over an hour away. Once we get to the job site, our hours start. We work 8 hours, then start home. On the way back the guy decides to get the truck's oil changed, so we pull into a place, then wait another 45 minutes to an hour while that is done, then finish the drive back. I ended up getting back to my house around 9 p.m. I fucking got paid $60 for getting up before 5 a.m., and getting home at 9 p.m. I could tell this guy didn't give a shit about his workers, so I called my friend that night and quit. Here's the fucking kicker though, I left my tool bag with tools in the back of the truck. So my net total for essentially a 15-hour day was just under $3. Don't tell truths that are not yours to tell. You don't need to be spreading people's business around without their permission. I think this has value, but some of the big things should be told to protect others. Being hands-off when someone will likely repeat an action that hurts others is the actual worst. Yes, and I don't hold those as the same thing. Telling a warning is different. I mean things like someone's surprise pregnancy or that they got a speeding ticket or that their mom is in the hospital. Those kinds of things. Mainly it's about providing a space for people to share things and feel safe that you won't go echo their secrets to the world. I never fuck with a person's food or vehicle if I got a problem with them. Never fuck with shit that ain't yours. Be nice to everyone. That includes yourself. Don't be an asshole. I go out of my way to not have to deal with assholes, and it's time well spent. Don't be an asshole is the first rule in our house, too. Second is assume best intentions, on the part of whomever you are dealing with. There are others but we've always said if you stick to those two solidly, you'll do just fine. The golden rule really matters. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It's one of those sayings that you have to actually analyze and absorb, and life changes for the better. A penny saved is a penny earned is another one we all hear, but when you think about it and truly absorb the mentality, life changes for the better. There's so many sayings we all hear, and a lot of them really can make life better. Try not to be a dick just because someone has it better than me doesn't invalidate their troubles or concerns. Always be happy for the homie's success, work hard but take no shit. I know it was supposed to be just one but I'd rank all these about the same. Always be happy for the homie's success. Goddamn right. Always be happy for the homies. That number one is a great foundation for any belief system. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. Always try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. Stow Live from Doctor Who. Not assuming anything about people and who they are without hearing the whole story. Also talking behind anyone's back. Yes. You can vent about someone, but there is a point when you are swaying the listener to hate them also. Help if you can. I've found this applies in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of situations. It also helps me sort through what my physical, mental, and emotional resources are, so I don't overpromise, but I do stretch myself sometimes. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by ignorance. Thumbs up, people are only capable of that which they are conscious. That's Hanlon's razor. Like Occam's razor where it's the simplest explanation that fully explains some things likely the solution. I capped fully because idiots tend to leave it out. And my fave is Hitchens' razor from the late Christopher Hitchens. What can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. People frequently downgrade malice to ignorance and give free passes to the most heinous behavior, when those committing it are fully aware that it's wrong and will immediately become defensive when you don't agree with whatever bigoted shit they're slinging. This reasoning is the default here because it justifies the righteous anger Redditors crave like heroin, but emo mistakes and ineptness are much more common than heinous behavior. Mistakes are much easier. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to request any topic and please consider subscribing. Thank you. Smile.